All right, hi, Richard Moore here. So I just wanted to give everyone an update, and I had a couple of things to say. So firstly, thank you very much to everyone who's been tremendously kind in the last, say, 36 hours or so. And all of the messages and comments and emails have been phenomenal in terms of support. Just to give you, a lot of people have asked, so the situation is about 36 hours ago I had very bad pains in my stomach and was taken to hospital, and it was decided that probably it would be appendicitis and that I should have an operation. So they put me on some painkillers. I was nil by mouth, of course, to prepare for the operation, so I was on drips as well and things like that. And yesterday morning I was told I should be prepared for surgery to start pretty much first thing. And the consultant came round, and because the pain hadn't worsened, it was just at a similar kind of level, he's decided that I will go on to antibiotics for the next few days instead. And if I can manage the pain and the antibiotics solve the issue, because it's probably early appendicitis, then it may be that the problem is solved. If not, then I will need to then have surgery. But I just wanted to thank everyone for all the kind words. It was a weird about face. I was literally in the gown, ready to go to theatre, and then he changed his mind. So that's how it is. Needless to say, I'm not going to be doing a Q&A today at 1 o'clock as usual. I'm pretty exhausted. I've slept almost 20 hours and I'm still I'm just drained, and I've got a lot of painkillers on me. So basically the pain is okay, but not. I just would rather not sit for an hour, and I need to be laying down a bit more. What was interesting when I was there, though, I wanted to share that there were two really important lessons I learned, or that were reinforced when I was in hospital. So I want to share this at least before I go. Firstly, that it's often said that your problems or challenges, for instance in business or in other realms, are never as bad as what other people have. And nowhere is it more apparent than when you're in hospital, because you can actually see other people's problems for yourself. Whereas for instance in business, you don't always get to see other people's challenges because you're focused on your own thing. When you're in a ward and there's 5 other patients with you, you really get a sense of how bad everyone else feels. And there was a chap opposite me in another bed, and he was a bit older than me. He also had appendicitis and was due to have an operation, but he also had bowel cancer, and there was a couple of other patients in that ward with cancer as well. Now, from my own experience with my family, I know how difficult it must be having cancer, and I've kind of experienced that through other people, and it really drives home that no matter how bad it is for you, some people are going through worse, and that renewed sense of perspective makes you change how you're looking at your situation. Because the reality is that in England alone there are 40,000 cases of appendicitis every year, and it's not a big deal. It's a very routine operation. It's just that it feels a lot more of a big deal because there's a general anaesthetic and you're getting cut open and things like that. But the reality is it's very routine. And the other lesson I wanted to share was that being in a hospital is an interesting environment, because nothing about it is really positive. At best, of being in a hospital ward is a neutral state, because it's, you know, it's all white and there's nothing there that's kind of bearing down on you. You're just in a bed. However, the environment, generally speaking, is quite a difficult one to be in, because when I moved into that ward and there was these chaps who are being treated for cancer and they're long term and you know, having some pretty hard times, it makes you realize that you should be very positive about what things you do have. I almost felt a bit embarrassed that I was there for about 24 hours, then I got to go home. I felt very, in a way, kind of lucky that it was me instead of someone else. But it is important to, moreover, to think positively about your situation. So comparatively speaking, my situation wasn't nearly as bad. And I remember saying to myself at one point, you're not actually ill, Richard, in the sense of having a major disease or a virus or something like that. The reality is that part of your body is inflamed and infected, but that can be overcome either by having it cut out or antibiotics. So with that in mind, it's important sometimes to take the logical route and realize that actually you should feel a bit more positive because every other part of you is working fine. And pain is just simply a chemical reaction. I've got receptors in my body that are telling me that something is aching. But if you can rationalize it and recognize that the painkillers will help you a bit, then you feel in a much better place. So thinking positively is crucial, and that's why I took with me some good books to make sure that I felt on the right lines as well. Just to be really clear, I'm not trying to be a hero here. I'm just saying that it's important to look around you at how other people often have a situation, and most of you watching this are in a very lucky position because you're born into the family you're born into, you're in the world you're currently in, you probably have a roof over your head, and you probably have nourishment and love of a family and things like that, or at least most of those things, and many people don't. So bear in mind that there's some real positivity in life, and you should build on that. Finally, just to say, the consultant really said one of the things in my favour, even if I had something worse than I did, was that I was very healthy. It means that it's not just about the luck of being young when something goes wrong, but being healthy means you do recover quicker. So it's about that idea of saving for a rainy day with your finances. Equally invest in yourself, in your body, your health, making sure you live a good healthy life, so that when it is needed, you can call upon your body to rebuild itself quickly as possible. So with that in mind, I really hope to be back in business for the Q&A on Thursday at 1 o'clock, but otherwise I'm going to go back to bed now and have a bit of a rest. Otherwise, thank you so much. It was a bit of a weird couple of days for me, and I'm not out of the woods yet, but it looks like things are on the mend. With painkillers and antibiotics, I may well be okay, and then that's that. But still, I really appreciate the wonderful words and messages and emails from people. It was quite touching. So have a great Monday, whatever you're doing, and make sure you take those lessons on board, and I'll see you all very soon.